Louis, and welcome to another video. So, this is something really rare. I don't typically do these in my channel, but we are in Bandless Week, and I feel like uh, even though I don't like making prediction lists, I don't like talking about like future lists that could be done like for this current format. And I kind of do want to talk about this format more in depth. I will do that in another video. I do think that we are in due for a Forbidden Limited list very soon. And I've seen some ideas that not a lot of people have brought up. And I kind of want to like talk about them. I also want to share some thoughts from my perspective, since despite me not having the dueling prowess of other YouTubers, I have been playing this TCG for a very long time. So I feel like I do have some merit into things that should be done on this list. I want to give a shout out to Kuyo Karoya. She did her own OCG prediction list. And in her OCG list, she talked about a few things. I'm not completely versed in Japanese, so obviously I just kind of took some things at face value. But she kind of brought up a few things that I actually think a lot of people in the TCG have been missing out on, and it's kind of warranted. All right, so let's talk about the bans real quick. I don't think this one comes to anybody's surprise. I think this is one of the only cards everybody collectively has agreed upon being hit on the forbidden list. I think what really put this card over the top is like its ability to be used in Mitsurugi variants. Mitsurugi is the best ritual deck we've had like ever. Like, not even Necros was at the level of Mitsurugi back when Necros was like its own powerful strategy. And Herald of the Arclight is not a new card. This card is over 10 years old now. So I don't think this card should be on the list anymore. A lot of people brought up how this could hurt Yumi as a strategy, and I feel like Yumi would be perfectly fine as a strategy even without this card. I do have Snatchy here, semi-limited. We will talk about that, but yeah, I feel like everybody can agree with this one. Mitsurugi Yumi is just a very strong strategy. It feels like you're playing against two decks like at once. I'm though a lot of people have brought up like the the theme about just not having like you should not be playing too many bridges for strategies. I don't think bridging one strategy to another is an unhealthy thing for the game. I think it's perfectly fine. I just feel like Herald itself just does a little bit too much for what the current format is trying to entail. Same thing with Zombie Vampire. This can be made in any Mitsurugi variant, and even though Zombie Vampire is a little bit less flexible in what it wants to do as a bridge, this card is just very, very similar to this one. Remember Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon? Yeah, this is basically the XYZ version of this card. Like, the only purpose behind Chaos Ruler was just to be used in mill decks, specifically tier elements, and just like catapult those strategies like into like a powerful contention. I don't see Chaos Ruler coming back in the TCG even with the heavy hit tier elements. So if this card is in the forbidden list, I don't see why Zombie Vampire should not be on the forbidden list. Um, and now we got Malice Red Ransom. This is a very recent thing that a lot of players have been talking about. This did happen in Master Duel, and I even saw Kuyo talking about Ransom being hit in the OCG, because for those who will know, in the OCG, Malice is like one of the top 3 strategies at the moment. I think after seeing Master Duel, because I have been peeking into like Malice players like over there, I think even with Red Ransom being hit, the strategy should be fine. As opposed to Master Duel and OCG, we do have Splash Mage in the Forbidden list, which is a really big deal. But I feel like if you have both Splash Mage and Red Ransom gone, the popularity of Malice is going to plummet. I don't think it will be an unplayable deck. I don't think it's not a strategy that cannot top in the TCG. But as of late, Malice have been popping up more and more, even with the heavy hits from the last list. And I don't think Malice is strong enough of a strategy to warrant a lot of people like shifting their focus on it. Maybe if they don't hit Malice in the TCG and they hit the other strategies, it could become one of the most respected decks, and people could be incentivized to like hard focus on it with Artifact Lancia and Chaos Hunter. But I do think another check to Malice is warranted. If you've seen all the regional wins and regional tops and all the YCS tops, this deck has been very, very consistent in like its topping record. So we're now going to limited. Eclipse Wyvern is already limited in the OCG. It hasn't done anything. With Burst Protocol coming up, I feel like this is just a really good time for this card to come back. It kind of gives you an incentive for those players that want to play Dragon Link. Same thing with White and Black Dragon. I don't see these cards not coming back, especially if you hit Malice. If you hit Malice to some degree, all these cards are perfectly fine to come back. So this Chessy Cat is only here in the off chance they don't hit Red Ransom. I think Red Ransom is the better hit, but if you don't hit Red Ransom, I think hitting Chessy Cat would be another option, because every single Malice list that has been topping has been playing through Chessy Cat. Basically, what they're doing here in the TCG is that they're playing max copies of Chessy Cat and Allure of Darkness, just to have a very consistent opening play in the deck, which is something that I don't disagree on. But yeah, in the off chance they do hit Red Ransom, you don't have to hit Chessy Cat. This is just here in the off chance they don't hit Red. So we'll just move this for now. So let's talk about Draco Tail. So a lot of people are not going to be in agreement with this one. I think there is no collective there's no collective consensus when it comes to how to hit Draco Tail. Some people put 5 mana to 1, some people putting multiple Draco Tails to semi-limited. I've seen people that even thought about doing something like this and just hitting all the most of the monsters here. The reason I didn't do that, or the reason I don't think is the right approach, is because as opposed to Ryziel and Malice, if you remember how they semi-limited Ryziel and Malice back in April, Draco Tail is a lot more lukewarm than those two decks when it comes to its combo potential. I think this is a very mid-rangey deck. It's not a one-card combo deck. Like, you need multiple cards in order to function the strategy correctly. So hitting the consistency of the strategy to any amount just will plummet the playability of this deck in the pure version. Right now in the OCG, they had Ketu limited, and for like an entire month, I would say like a month and a half, Dracotail was absent in the OCG up until Burst Protocol. After Burst Protocol came around, a lot of hybrid versions of the deck have been played. So my proposal is to limit Arthalion. By limiting Arthalion, you're doing a couple of things. One, you're keeping the consistency of the deck in check. Like, nobody has to change the way Dracotail has been built. But it also makes it so the turn 0 plays with 5 mana come with more consequences. It also incentivizes people to play. Well, it's not here on this program, but it also incentivizes people to play Charis, which is the other Dracotail monster, the one we're getting at Burst Protocol. That one monster is not being played in the OCG. So by limiting Arthalion, you are incentivizing that card to be played. You're also giving a consensus to the players that are playing this strategy. And it's not like you're completely out of the game if you limit Arthalion. Like, you have your Dracotail traps that can also put back Arthalion back into the extra deck. You also have Secretarian Dragon that can also bring this card back or spawn this card back to the extra. Like, there are multiple ways to get back Arthalion. It's just eliminating the ease of making this card each and every turn and just like pummeling your opponent out of the resources. That's basically like the one contribution that I think should be done with Dracotail. I could perfectly see the other side of the coin happening, like maybe semi-limiting these or maybe limiting Ketu. This card just got an ultimate rare printing in the OTS pack, and even though we did have cards from the OTS pack hit in the past, like very recently after, I don't think Keto is going to be one of them. So yeah. So shout out to Kuyo Karoya. She is the one who thought about this one. I have no credit into thinking this one over. And I haven't seen many people in the TCG bring this one up. I have limited pre-preparation of rights. So if you only ban these two cards, the Mitsurugi strategy is still intact, and some people will still play it as a hybrid in other strategies. By limiting pre-prep, you are taking away the ability to play this as a consistent engine in other decks. Yes, you are limiting the power of the pure Mitsurugi version. However, I feel like if this card is not on the list, it will have to be a Mitsurugi card like Habakiri or Prayers. And I don't think neither Konami in the TCG or the actual Mitsurugi players themselves want that to happen. I feel like Mitsurugi on its own is a very fair strategy. Mitsurugi as a hybrid for other decks is very dangerous. So this card is not a new card. This card is way older than the Mitsurugi cards. And by hitting this card, you're basically putting whoever is not on pure Mitsurugi to build their deck properly. Because who wants to play one copy of Mitsurugi Mirror with one copy of pre-prep, right? I seen a lot of people already brick on that card. Semi-limited. So I guess we have to talk about Joko. I almost forgot. I think this is a collective decision. I think a lot of people already agree on this one. K9 needs to be hit in some way. The K9 Vanquish Soul deck or the Vanquish Soul strategy of K9 has been very, very popular and has been winning a lot of events as of late. So, yeah, I'd say just limit Joko. If you feel like some other hit could be done with K9, I don't see any other hit to the strategy that is as strong as hitting Joko. So, semi-limits, I don't think both Razen and Stake Your Soul should happen. I think it has to be one of the two. If seeing the track record of Vanquish Soul and seeing how has it been consistently topping events, the safer pick would be Stake Your Soul to 2 copies. This is one that not many people, like not everybody will be in agreement. This one is going to be shifting gears towards a lot of different players. I think Vanquish Soul as a strategy was fine. It's the K9 monsters that kind of pushed it over the edge. However, seeing the track record of Vanquish Soul and how has it won 2 YCSs like in the past month, maybe not bringing back all the Vanquish monsters real quick before the limit of Jokul is a smart approach. So Snatch Hero 2, a lot of Mitsu Yomi players are already playing this at 2. If you ban the Herald and you ban the Zombie Vampire, you're incentivizing Yomi players to just go back to 3 Snatchies. And you might as well just put Snatch Hero 2. It's already at 2 in the OCG. Yomi is still being played over there as a top tier strategy. You could make the argument that they have a Herald of Arclight, and that actually does help the strategy over there. But at the moment, so I've had players at my local saying Yomi needs another hit besides just Herald, and I kind of do agree. I feel like semi-limiting Snatchy is a smart approach. So, Unlimiteds, there's not a lot of cards to talk about here. Monster Reborn hasn't seen play in a long time, and I feel like this is one of these cards that we'll probably still not gonna see it play, even at unlimited status. So, this is not in a lot of people's prediction list, so I felt like bringing it up. I think Fiendsmith could have this comeback. Some people are bringing up banning like the DDD, like Wave Hiking Caesar, I think it is. Yeah, this one. Some players have this card like on their Forbidden Limited list. I think Fiendsmith is perfectly fine as a strategy. This card is not like the most impossible monster to get rid of. But yeah, Lacrima at 1 is pretty much the same as Lacrima at 3. This goes back to what I said about Burst Protocol. This just incentivizes more people to play the Rocket Dragon Link deck. Charbaro 3, there's not many good board breaker decks in the format. I don't think like Unchained is going to be another one that's just going to rise in popularity. So yeah, maybe this card can come back. Astrograph, Pendulums haven't done anything. I think this is perfectly fine. Like, as long as Electromite is on the Forbidden list, I feel like more and more Pendulums can just keep coming back. without little to no issues. Infinity has been power crept. I haven't seen this strategy like take off like in the TCG like at all. With hand traps just being part of our ecosystem, it's really hard for combo decks that don't play hand traps to just do very well. This deck loses to every Mold Charming. Like Meowls, Perulia, and like Fualas all hurt this deck really hard. So we just need to clutter the list. This card shouldn't be there. Into the Void, this card is arguably worse than Offstar Goblin. Could also come back. Purely, this strategy hasn't taken off in a while. I think this deck can be incentivized to be played again. Like, with these cards back at 3. Snatch Steal, again. This card has been limited for a long time. I think this was due to an FTK. Whatever FTK was popular with this back then is probably not gonna be popular here in 2026. Natural Sacred Tree. This might look like a Runic return. Trust me, I am not the biggest fan of the Naturia Runic deck. But this is a strategy that, like, this card was only there because of this deck. I don't think this deck would take off anytime soon if you bring this card back. I've seen people play the Killer Tune deck with the Naturia cards. I also seen people play Centurion with these cards also in the OCG. But yeah, I don't think this will do anything. We haven't seen Runic being played in a long time. I think with the Radiant Typhoon deck like popping up a little bit more and more, maybe it's not the worst idea to play like a Runic variant of this deck, of that deck. You are incentivizing people to look into that strategy more for advanced constructed more than in Genesis format. And yeah, this is my list. Not a lot of things here that are very obscure. I feel like this shouldn't also be a really big list. I will talk about this format in another video. I do feel like a lot of people have not brought up just how better than the common eye this format is. I will give a brief TLDR before making that video. I feel like this format, it's not completely like it's one of the better formats that we had in a while. And you just need to do some very small touch-ups in order for this format to be even better than a lot of past formats have been in the past. I also am glad that Konami in the TCG has taken the precedent of just doing touch-up lists involving like a lot of floodgates or like unfun cards that like kind of do shape up these kind of formats. But yeah, that's it from me. Until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.